Hey everyone, what's up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here are my picks for UFC 156, Aldo versus Edgar. Alright folks, now this looks like a sick card on paper. I really can't wait for it. If you guys want my preliminary card picks for it, I'll leave them in the description below like usual. Also in the description below, my review to UFC on Fox, the one that transpired last weekend. If you guys did not catch that card yet, I suggest you do somehow. But let's get things rolling with this card starting off at the top, the main event between José Aldo and Frankie Edgar for that featherweight championship. Alright, now this is a very tough fight to call for obvious reasons, because on one side you have José Aldo, arguably one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters of all time. He's been in the top 3 or 4 for the past 3 or 4 years by now, so yeah, he's nasty as far as a featherweight. When he is on, he's definitely on. Now on the other side you have Frankie Edgar, who always brings it, and is arguably still the best lightweight on paper. You know, of course, he kind of got robbed against Benson Henderson in their last fight, so that was kind of unfortunate, because he proved to the world right there that, you know, he pretty much was still the best, you know what I'm saying? Of course, his first fight with Benson really didn't end up going his way, and I scored it for Ben in that fight because of that upkick for the most part. But in that second fight, Frankie won at least 3 of those rounds, and the judges really didn't feel that way. So that's up for Frankie Edgar, and that's why he's down to take José Aldo's featherweight belt, because we don't want to see another trilogy from Frankie. So is he going to be able to beat José Aldo? To be honest, I personally don't think so. José Aldo, I think, is too athletic and too quick. Frankie Edgar is used to being the faster fighter, and he might be the faster fighter here as far as his wrestling ability. He always is. But José Aldo is super athletic and just knows his stuff on the feet. You know, he's a 6 stand-up fighter. He's a former soccer player. He knows how to stay on his feet. So he's going to be able to move in and out of the pocket. He's going to be able to land the leg kicks when he needs to. I think that's going to take away Frankie's explosiveness. I don't think Frankie's going to be able to catch those leg kicks as often as he wants to take José Aldo down. So yeah, watch for José Aldo to time those leg kicks better than Frankie's able to time his takedowns. And because of that, I think Frankie's going to look a little bit more sluggish on the feet. Towards the later rounds, I think José Aldo is going to be able to open up with his own combinations. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see Frankie do his thing as far as his own punches. You know, of course, Frankie's a very respectable boxer. He has really fast combinations, and I still think he's going to get leg kicked a lot. I still think he's going to be agile enough on his own feet to move in and out of the pocket pretty well. So who knows? You know, Frankie might be able to make things close as far as the volume of punches he throws, but I think José is going to be a little bit too much as far as how hard he's going to hit Frankie, and I think that's what's going to matter throughout the fight. You know, I think that's going to be a story in the judges' eyes, is effective striking, and I think José is going to defend most of Frankie's takedowns as well, and if he does get taken down, I think he's going to be able to pop right back up. So that's my pick right there, guys. José Aldo via unanimous decision. I think he wins at least 48-47. Okay, folks, now let's move on to that light heavyweight co-main event. It's between Rashad Evans and Antonio Rogério Nogueira. Now, what does Rogério bring to the table? Of course, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Pretty respectable guard. He's a pretty solid grappler in general. Now, of course, he has good boxing skills. He's like Olympic level or some shit. Technically pretty good. Good combination puncher. Pretty good uppercuts as well. Nice straight puncher, too. And yeah, he really doesn't get too wild on the feet, and he definitely knock Rashad out, if you ask me. You know, he has pretty good power, and Rashad, of course, has a pretty good stanky leg. So that's not good if you're Rashad Evans. However, Rashad Evans has pretty good head movement. He's pretty quick. He's kind of hard to hit sometimes, and I think he's going to be able to use that speed to his advantage against Rogério. His hands are pretty good, too, as far as technique. You know, he does hit hard, too, so that might get to Rogério over the course of 3 rounds. And as good as Rogério's chin is, I wouldn't be surprised if he got finished. You know, Rashad Evans, pretty solid combination puncher. I'm pretty sure he's hungry. He's going to be in shape. He's going to have a game plan, and he might be out to finish Rogério in this fight. So who knows? We'll see if Rashad Evans ends up being aggressive. However, I think he's just going to do enough to secure a unanimous decision. I think he's going to be able to pick apart Rogério from the outside as far as his speed. You know, he's going to pop the jab in Rogério's face. I think Rogério, being a flat-footed fighter, maybe tries to take control of the center of the octagon, but I just don't think he's going to be able to pick apart Rashad Evans with too many shots. I don't think Rashad Evans is going to stanky leg at all, so who knows? I think his chin is going to hold up in this fight. I still think Rogério is going to hit him with punches, but I think Rashad Evans is going to be able to volume punch his way to unanimous decision. I think he's just going to hit Rogério a heck of a whole lot more. Rogério's striking defense isn't that good, so watch for Evans to land a lot of combinations and maybe take Rogério down near the end of the round. So that's my pick, guys. Rashad Evans to do all of that, at least 29-28 unanimous decision. Not gonna lie though, I think it would be cool to see Lil Nog win that fight. But now let's move on to some heavyweights. Alistair Overeem versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva. guys, this has an Overeem win written all over it. How does Bigfoot win this fight? You know, his wrestling's not nearly good enough to take down Alistair Overeem. Alistair is going to be ready to just put this guy in the plumb, land some elbows, land some hooks into that thick-ass skull of Antonio Bigfoot Silva, and of course that uber knee. Bigfoot's going to have to watch out for that, and if he's not in the plumb, you know, Alistair Overeem's just going to stalk Bigfoot Silva and just wait to land those hooks. He's just a monster on the feet, is Alistair Overeem. He's just scary to be against if you cannot take him down, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Antonio Bigfoot Silva has the judo or the wrestling to take Alistair Overeem down, so I look for the former K1 World Grand Prix champion to do his thing against Antonio Bigfoot Silva and score that first round knockout win. So that's my pick, guys. Alistair Overeem, I'm going to say knee and punches. If that fight does hit the ground, it's probably because Antonio Bigfoot Silva got knocked down and then got knocked out by that Alistair Overeem. But speaking of a fight that will hit the ground, it's between John Fitch and Demian Maia in welterweight. And Demian Maia's looked kind of spectacular since moving down to welterweight. His weight cuts have been good. And of course, in his last outing, he pretty much made Rick Story choke on his own blood. So, nasty win there from Demian Maia. And it's crazy. Demian Maia is actually the underdog here. I think he's like plus 150 on some sites. I'm actually going to put some action on Demian Maia, you know what I'm saying? I actually think he wins this fight. As good as John Fitch looked against Eric Silva, you know, he look kind of sloppy on the ground if you are Demian Maia. You know what I'm saying? Demian Maia is going to be able to take advantage of some of these situations. Of course, John Fitch did a good job in terms of passing Eric Silva's guard and being able to get his back, get that back mount, and being able to go for rear naked chokes and shit. But of course, Eric Silva was able to sweep John Fitch here and there too. And if you're Demian Maia, you know, Demian Maia is looking at that fight and he's thinking, hey, I could do this, but probably finish at the same time. Demian Maia, ADCC level grappler, whether he's on top or on his back, he's going to be very comfortable. I just don't think John Fitch is going to have a good time smothering Demian Maia. I think if anyone's going to finish this fight, it's going to be Demian Maia. And I think that he's going to have X amount of potential finishing moves in this fight that the judges will have to give to him if it goes to decision. So I'm going to say Demian Maia wins this by at least a split decision. However, I think Demian Maia is going to be able to come in there like he did against Chael Sonnen and look ultra aggressive in terms of getting this to the ground, and I think he's going to get the better of John Fitch when it's there. I think he potentially gets that back mount and gets that rear naked choke. So that's my pick. I'm going to say that happens in the first round. It's kind of bold, but Demian Maia via rear naked choke. Alright folks, now let's move on to that flyweight fight. Kicking us off on the main card though. It's between Joseph Benavidez and Ian McCall. Sick fight here, guys. Potential fight of the night as well. On one side you have Obi-Wan Kenobi, Joseph Benavidez with his nasty alpha male guillotine, of course. Ian McCall and his wrestling better be wary for that when he does go for them takedowns. Joseph Benavidez might be able to catch Ian McCall in one of those guillotines, and yeah, he's just nasty in transition. You know, if he even so happens to get taken down, you know, maybe he's able to wrap up that guillotine. Maybe he's able to just pop back up and land combinations. He's good when he's pressured, and he's able to pressure you as well. You know, he has pretty good boxing. He's able to set up his takedowns with that boxing, and he's going to be able to pour it on against someone like Ian McCall, if you ask me. McCall, he's a good wrestler. He's a decent boxer, but, you know, I think he's kind of a reckless fighter. I think there's a pretty decent likelihood of him getting caught in a guillotine, and I think there's a decent likelihood that Benavidez, being the more technical wrestler, being the more technical boxer, can outpoint Ian McCall for 3 rounds if he felt like it. But I think Joseph Benavidez is going to be able to find an opening to wrap that guillotine up in that first round. So that's my pick. In a nice short fight, Joseph Benavidez first round submission via guillotine choke. Well, let's hope we see the best out of Uncle Creepy as well come that night. Hopefully it's going to be longer than what I think it's going to be. All in all, I think this card is going to be beautiful in the end. It looks like a sick, exciting main card. Even that preliminary card looks pretty good. Again, I'll leave my picks in the description below if you guys haven't checked those out yet. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed my picks, please subscribe. And I'll see you soon for a review, hopefully. So thanks again for all the support. Deuces for all my supporters, roosts for all my haters, and take care.